if we're going live and it's cold and you want to drive sales, you have to
Urgency.
you've got to get a really very good discount,
Yeah.
or it's just wasting your breath,
Yeah.
or it's just brand consistency,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, or brand awareness.
Lunch with them, lunch with them, lunch with them, lunch with them,
Hello, hello, hello. This is Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Today, one of my favorite topics. If anybody has listened to this podcast lately, they know the challenge that I've been going through, and this is with Amazon Live. So today, we have an A-lister with us, and we're going to be talking about how Amazon Live can help grow your brand. We're also going to be talking about the do's and the don'ts of Amazon Live, which, of course, I've done all the don'ts. And we're also going to be looking at Amazon Live. Is it right for every seller? And how does Amazon Live actually help you as a brand grow? So I can't wait to dig into this. Welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Okay, welcome again. And like I said, today we're going to be talking about how Amazon Live can help your brand grow. Just 1 second. Oh, that's good. All right. Our guest today is an A-list Amazon influencer since 2021. That's an awesome feat, and a singer-songwriter. She extended her experience as a marketer on social media to create record sales on the newest selling and most promising platform, Amazon Live. She has achieved up to 125,000 views in a single broadcast. That's incredible because I'll get 3 or 4. And in 2022, she generated a total of over 2 million in sales. She is, like I said, an A-lister influencer on Amazon. I can't wait to talk to her. And this is Lorna Earnshaw, and she is our first time guest. So anyways, before we get into it, let's have a word from our sponsor. Are you struggling to keep up with your Amazon business? Do you need help from a skilled, reliable virtual assistant? Well, look no further than the Virtual Assistant Academy, or VAA Philippines. Founded by successful Amazon sellers who know the challenges of hiring quality VAs, VAA specializes in locating, screening, training, and supporting high-quality VAs in the Philippines. Their VAs receive extensive Amazon training and ongoing professional development and are committed to a long-term working relationship with you. Partner with VAA and experience the peace of mind knowing that you have a dedicated Amazon-trained VA who's up to date with the latest tools and trends in the dynamic Amazon marketplace. Head over to VAAphilippines.com and let VAA match you with your ideal VA. Grab a cup of coffee and enjoy the episode. Oh, welcome, Lorna.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Something tells me you couldn't find your small headset.
It's because it has an impact, It's like,
oh, is that what it
has
is?
an impact. Yeah, it's the streamer, is the environment.
Oh boy, we started to talk just before the podcast, and I think I could sit down and talk to you for hours. Just it just started to flow, and I'm looking at the time, going, "Oh, we're going to be late. We're going to be late." But it's interesting. How long have you been on social media?
I've started in 2007.
2007. So you've been there for some time. You're an entertainer, correct?
Yes, I am an entertainer.
And so you're used to getting lots of views.
Yes, I am.
Well,
yeah. It's been a journey. It started in 2007 without knowing what I was doing. And at the time, I did it because I needed it. And I have a degree in journalism, so I have a background. And then on the other side, I have degrees in music. So I've been combining this, and then my passion is marketing. So this is how I've always been tracking numbers and using social media just to monetize. I've never been a person that has been on social media just trying to get validation or just likes for likes.
Yeah, and I guess that's important. You bring up a great point when you do go onto social media. Why are you doing it? If it is for a business, why are you doing it? And you have to understand what to do, how to do it. The content you're providing. You mentioned something very interesting when we were coming on the podcast, and you said that you would be you had lots of views, and you had, I think, one, like almost 2 million views on this one YouTube video that you were doing. And then soon as you posted something into your Facebook group, or that group, now you started to get angry people saying, you shouldn't be doing this. I mean, it was anti.
You sold yourself. You're
You
not.
sold yourself. That was what you said. Yeah.
They've told me, yeah. They've told some of them. Some get it, but
And this is the beauty of Amazon Live. People expect that this is what you're doing, but at the same time, when you're doing Amazon Live, you can show the quality of the product. You can bring out the quality of the packaging, the overall customer experience, because you've experienced that, and you just provide that knowledge and education to whoever is watching. Now, I might have one person watching, you probably have thousands of people watching, but I talk to myself a lot, but
it's part of the deal.
it's part of the deal.
It's
But
it's the way it goes. It's the way it starts. You can't. Sometimes it happens that we don't have a lot of people there, especially because you need to understand, Norm, that it's not only you. It's also a system that Amazon has created for their own benefit. So they want you to grow, but they don't want you to grow that much. So this is why it's hard. You know what I'm saying? They have their own Amazon Live channel in which they're charging $50,000 minimum for a seller to place their products. Okay. So yesterday there was an Amazon Live on the official channel, and we love Amazon. I'm obsessed with Amazon, but Amazon needs to make money too. And they put up this show, and they charged $50,000 per placement, and they have 30 products there. How much money did they make on that?
wow.
Would they want you to take people and just to make deals with those brands, which, by the way, these are some of the brands that are my current sponsors that have 1 year, 2 years. I have already 2 years of contracts with one of those brands. They don't want you to really be competing with them. So that's why it's really hard to grow. Do you understand? It's not that it's only you. It's because they're going to give you an opportunity to grow, but they want you to bring the people
That doesn't
to the platform.
it doesn't sound well. It's typical Amazon, right? Amazon has their own brands. They'll compete directly against you, and they
Yes.
do the same thing here. Yeah, sometimes I wish, and I know Walmart's doing this. Well, I don't know if you've applied over at the Walmart lives, but they're starting Walmart lives as well. And you being the size that you are would be automatically you'd probably be just automatically in. I'm still on a wait list, but yeah, big influencers. They're just trying to bring in exactly like Amazon's doing it. And also there's other channels like Shoploop from Google and other live channels out there, but where are the dollars at? And that's right now at Amazon. But
Yeah.
it's not fair, and I hate using the word not fair, but it doesn't make sense for a person to put a lot of time and effort in when they just basically want the time and effort to build up your list so they can basically bring people over to watch their $50,000 per product channel. So anyways, this is all is bringing me down a little bit. So let's get off this subject.
It's okay. Well, but on the other side, if you go and you ask all the influencers nowadays in which channel they can go and they actually can make money, like we can make money on Amazon, they're going to tell you, actually, I'm not making money on YouTube. I'm not making money on Facebook. And I was streaming in 2020. I started streaming consistently for a whole year, 3 times a week. And I never did any money streaming on Facebook. I was building my audience. People loved me. Oh, okay, great. You're great. Oh, you're amazing. So what? So then I started going on Facebook and I started showing my music at the beginning. And that's why I got a lot of attention, because I am the professional musician on Amazon. Here I have my whole set, I have my piano, I perform. So people started joining then I was able to make money. So yes, it is unfair, but it's also only for the tough,
Yeah.
so which, for me, because I have that consistency, I am able to do it. And this is why I'm not going on Walmart, because building the same thing and duplicate, I don't think is something that is doable for me. I'd
Mhm.
rather build my brand and my agency, because I consider myself a marketer. And in this part of the business, it's kind of like an agency to support the sellers with a full strategy. I'm not just an influencer that started doing dances on TikTok and got 1 million followers, and then someone said, "Oh, you can make money out of this." It's something that I do differently, and I decided to stick to Amazon because of this opportunity. Hopefully, Walmart is going to be not so centralized, uh,
Mhm.
but it's what we have. And as I said, I think it's still a great opportunity for many of us. Still, a lot of people are. Smaller brands have the opportunity to showcase their products without having to drop 50 grand.
Right. Right. And one of the things I want to bring out here, because a lot of people are still confused with what. Excuse me for a sec. I'm going to cough.
Oh, it's okay. Oh no.
Oh, I hope everybody. I was on mute. I hope, but but anyway, people are still a bit confused by. Okay, you hear about going on and talking about you being your own brand ambassador as the influencer using Amazon Live, holding out the phone and talking, and then there's this whole other world of, okay, I can hire an influencer, and how are they going to work with my brand? Do I get their video afterwards? So let's talk about what's the difference between the brand owner going live and then something like what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Great question. So basically, Amazon offers different options. One, it's going to be you as a brand can go live and you can showcase your product. You can have your channel. Unfortunately, people are not attracted to that. People don't watch that. If I go and watch, for example, I'm going to name an example, someone that
Yep.
I have NDAs with my sponsors usually. So there are many that I can't even mention right now. But for example, Betshore, okay, it's one of the biggest brands in bedding, multiple items, bestsellers. They're big. Okay. They are in the Amazon Live official channel, and they have their own Amazon Live channel, and they have 1-2 people watching on their channel. And they give me their products, and I am on the today's deals page, and I am on the Amazon homepage, because I'm an A-lister and I engage with the viewers in a way that when they hire someone, that is someone that they find. Sometimes I joke to myself, like, I think this is a girl that worked at the factory, and they said, "Okay, now you're going to show products." They're going to say, and the girl is like, "Okay, so let me see." So this has, because that's not how, this is not how people work. We don't want to be sold, even if we are on Amazon. There is always this barrier or of mistrust that we have to break as influencers, because when people take your advice, people that are watching my live stream take my advice, they are taking the advice of a friend, of a family member that says, "Oh, I just bought this product and it worked great," as opposed to take the advice or the recommendation of a brand, someone that it's making that product and is trying to push it to you because they think that they're not going to be real. Okay. So that's the main reason why I think that the brands on Amazon are not picking up. They don't get, they're not getting engagement. And as I said, even though Betshore, it's big and they're going live all day long. And I've even had people that came to me for advice, for consultation, to get them to go to A-list, which is A-list is the highest, the
Right.
top tier of the live streamers that Amazon selects, and they approve you in my case, I wasn't even completing all the requirements, and they one day I just woke up and I was an A-lister. They just gave it to me. They handed it to me because they liked the way I was introducing the product. Probably they like, I don't know, they like maybe that I was singing, and I don't know what was exactly that put me in that position. But then when you are an A-lister, you are in the homepage and you are on the today's deals page, which is where the viewers happen, the views happen. Otherwise, it's extremely hard for people to find Amazon Live, to find the brands, and then go into an Amazon Live from a brand as opposed to an entertainer, someone that they can trust because they are, and people still ask me all the time. So, do you really use this? Or they try to ask like tricky questions. For example, oh, I saw you presenting this other brand the other day, so now you're saying this brand is better. They put me in that position sometimes. They're testing me too. And then that's why I still need to be very conscious and very, how can I say, honest with my opinions. This is why I always test the products, and I never do deals with products that I don't like and that I wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, we do get a lot of products in because we're asking for them, and we're doing these product reviews and shoppable videos, but we still have the products that come in that are bad. I feel bad that I have to reject them, but like Kelsey knows, and I'm not going to say anything. I hope they're not listening, but I think actually I hope they are listening
You're doing them a
because
favor.
yeah,
You're helping.
because they have a beautiful brand, beautiful product. Yet, when I was going to use it, it actually cut my wrists twice. And then I had my wife try it out because I didn't want her to bleed all over the place either, but I wanted to see if it happened to her.
That was not nice of you, Norm. That's
And
marital advice.
she basically was screaming at me because I got her to try this product, and
There you go.
it was that bad. It was just an actual safety hazard, and I just wanted to see if I was doing it wrong. And so we let the brand know that we just could not put that onto the Amazon Live. Even just pressing your hand on it could cut it. And my wrist was actually cut twice.
Wow.
So anyways, you do get products like that. And usually it's not that far on the other side of the spectrum. But what do you do? I'm curious. So I have some really great products surrounding me right now. I just got off of a live yesterday, and I've got, like, let's say right here, and this is actually a really great product. This is called a Veget Pro, and it's a vegetable knife.
Mhm.
Okay, so I was promoting this, and I was saying everything that I've done. I've used it, showed how I used it. But let's say something was bad about it. Let's say you didn't like it, or you didn't like the grip. Do you avoid that, or do you let people know?
Most of the times, if I think this is something, I think there is a difference. There's a difference between my standard, people's standard, a product that is bad, or a hazard. Like this brand, they could get sued because if people get hurt, they
Yeah.
could get sued. So if I have an Amazon seller account. We're producing a product right now, and we're very aware that we need to bring value and we need to be aware of all these things before we come up with a product, because otherwise you're going to lose so much money. So first off, I don't feel bad rejecting products. And when something like that happens, I say, okay, if you're willing to, I'm willing to spend time to give you some feedback to help you out. Okay, sometimes I do that and I receive samples, and then sometimes I accept that and sometimes I don't. Now, for example, there is a difference between a mulberry silk pillowcase, great for your skin, great for your hair, as opposed to a satin pillowcase. The same idea, but you cannot compare a Ferrari to a Honda Civic.
Right.
Okay, so that is something that I usually explain to people. They say, "Oh, you said these headphones are great, but are these better than the Bose or whatever?" And say, "Well, you're asking me, is a Ferrari better than a Honda? Well, let me tell you, if you're paying $20, you need to understand that there is a standard. There are other brands that have higher prices, and I can tell you what's my favorite of those higher price. But maybe you're in a situation in which you're starting out and you still want to go live, and you maybe don't have the money to buy the best headphones, but this is going to get you off. You're going to be able to be out there. You're going to be able to present yourself to the world. And then little by little, you can start improving. Maybe your first car wasn't the best car that you got in your life. So I try to be as honest as possible as a person.
Yep.
And try to explain things the way they make sense to me. And I never put myself in a situation in which I'm not going to be able to respond or to argue or to defend myself.
Yeah. And I just want to, for listeners, and I think this is so important. And in our webinar tomorrow, we'll be talking about this, but the right etiquette, just going back and forth with influencers, because a lot of us have huge egos. So, and what you don't want to do is force your ego onto the influencer and make it sound like you're doing them the favor. If, like, I don't know if you've seen this. I know with the some of the time I've talked to Kelsey about this, but people have just sent us these crazy emails, and it's like, I'm not dealing with this person, and this guy's an idiot. And and literally, like, some of the stuff that they say, well, we're doing this for us anyways. We're doing it for free, and they're demanding these types of expectations.
I know.
So I think it's important for anybody who's looking for an influencer, it should match your personality or the brand's personality, and you can't force your ego onto that influencer, because especially if they're a good influencer, I don't care if they're a nano influencer, but they'll just say they have so many opportunities that they're just going to say, see you later. And I'm sure you've seen that as well.
Yeah. So yeah, that is, well, there is something that I've learned, that 10% of the people in the world are crazy. Okay, that is a fact. You cannot understand them. You cannot just try. So you're gonna have, like, okay, I have 100 people sending me emails. They're gonna be crazy out of this. So I don't have to even think about that. Moving forward from there, of course, there are people that don't understand how they work. Many times I work with people from other countries, from China, and they have their own ways of talking to us. They don't understand how it works. So I definitely agree with what you're saying. And I see that many times the sellers also think that I have to show up and I have to make an ad out of what they want to do, because they don't understand the format. And sometimes they send me like 2 pages of specifications of how many watts or whatever, things that I don't even know what it, just let me know I want to know how it works. I'm not going to go and tell people all the specifications, because this is not what Amazon Live is about. Amazon Live, it's about storytelling.
Right.
I tell story. I explain people, I say, for example, have you ever been on a road trip? I was coming back from San Diego, and then my dashboard started like blinking, and I knew that I had to stop at a gas station. I stopped at this gas station. There was no one there. My hair was blowing like crazy, and I was like, where am I? And then I was like, oh my goodness. And then my boyfriend said, where is your tire inflator? And I said, what is that? Tire inflator? Am I supposed to have that? Like, does it come with a car? And they said, no, you need to buy. And that's kind of like, okay, how I talk about the product. That's what, people start putting themselves in that position. Or instead of explaining these very tight things about the product, I need to make fun of it a little bit. So I think that it's very important for everybody that is working with influencers, that they need to understand that this artistic part to it, that is not the listing of the features that we're going to be reading. Because if I read the features, nobody's going to tune in. Then I'm going to go to 2 viewers in 5 days.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it has to do with that. And of course, there is the the way that you need to talk to the seller. The sellers need to approach the influencers so that it has to be respectful, but also this is why I have, and I recommend that you get these two. I have a virtual assistant, my virtual assistant, and I don't want to know about negative people. I don't get that. And if someone is giving me trouble, I just don't work anymore with them. And also with time, you start learning what are the things that might be an issue. So I put that in the contract first. So for example, before committing to show the product, I need to receive the sample. When I receive the sample, I say, okay, let me try it. Then we're going to move into the next. So these are things that you're going to be learning as you go, you know?
Yeah, that's so important, and especially when you said you actually try it. I've seen a lot of different, and I know for a fact that they haven't tried it. You know, they've put it in for placement, and that's it, and they just talk about it for a quick second, but they've never tried the product. So it's important that you do that. I like the what you just said about storytelling. I think a lot of people miss that art. It's a dying art. And if you can go and talk about, you know, Aprika Life, their tea, and talk about how you've tried it, and you know what you like, just a whole story behind it, I think it's going to be so much more engaging for the audience.
You put an emotion, you put something that the viewer can connect to.
Right.
You know, for example, I have this organizer and I have a conversation with the owner that she really wanted me to say everything. She said, oh, we have all this returns because the organizer doesn't fit. So you need to tell them it has to be 9x11. And I'm like, okay, guys, don't be that person that buys the organizer, puts it in, trying to put it inside the cabinet. It doesn't fit and you have to return it. So don't be that person. Then I start like playing sounds here, like, please don't be that person that returns that. So kind of like have fun with it, put a face to it, put an emotion to it. And that's what connects. That's what Amazon Live is about. Amazon Live is not about you send the script of what you want them to tell in the live stream. That's
Right.
my number one advice for sellers to have a successful.
That's great advice. Now we are at the bottom of the hour. I know we had a very long intro today, but anyways, at the bottom of the hour, we like to just let any of our new listeners know that we have something waiting for you at the end of the podcast called Wheel of Kelsey. So we need you to hashtag Wheel of Kelsey or tag 2 people, and you'll be entered into this giveaway. We have a prize at the end of every giveaway, at the end of every podcast. Kelsey, why are you here?
All right. Well, I think we forgot to talk about this at the beginning. We need to have a prize.
So you wonder why the mayor of Blunderville is something I've been saying.
I think you missed this on your notes too. So I think we're a team here.
Team Blunderville.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think for today's giveaway, we can do a Honu giveaway.
Okay. All right. Very good. So what we normally give away with Honu is you have an option of it's now $400 for the Tariff Terminator, a free year of storage for 1 pallet. What's the other one, Kels? You know what? The other thing we can do here is Afalabi has spent a lot of time putting out an incredibly well done course for sourcing. It's called Sourcing Mastery. Some of you are beta users already, but we could also offer that. And that is, we're not sure what the price point's going to be, but that's between $500 and $1,000. So now it's not going to be available right away. We're still doing some finishing touches, but whoever wins could have that option as well. So those are 3 different things that you can choose from if you'd like the Wheel of Kelsey today.
All right. And I think there is a stipulation that you can't have won it before. So it's only for new customers that are accessible for that. So if you're the winner, you'll just have to have the sourcing.
Now, not won the Wheel of Kelsey, but just one for Honu.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that. But before we do it, let's take a quick break and have a word from our sponsor. Launching products isn't like it used to be. To successfully launch your product, you need to hit that algorithm from all sides. Driving external sales, boosting social signals, and increasing product listing engagement are fundamental to success. Rebate is the first and only launch platform that delivers across this broad range. Get your product featured on Amazon.live through Rebate's influencer program. With this service, your product gets instant exposure to large audiences of shoppers and permanent placement on Amazon Influencer Storefront, which drives perpetual sales. Run a sweepstakes campaign on Rebate and connect with shoppers off Amazon. And lastly, drive external sales with tried and true deals campaigns. Visit rebate.com today and get started with your 14-day free trial. Okay, we are back. Now let's talk about, I want to talk about a little bit more about just Amazon Live, a few things that people don't understand about it. And this could be, how to hire an Amazon Live, how to hire Amazon Live placements.
Okay. Yeah. So first thing that I would suggest is first you need to be honest about what is your goal when you're putting that budget into the campaign. First thing that I would say is if you're thinking about Amazon Live, you're listening to this, you're excited about the opportunity to get your product, as I said, with an A-lister like myself or other great A-listers as well that are going to be on the homepage, on the Today's Deals page. You need first to be honest to yourself if you want to have a brand, because maybe you just have a product that you're testing and it's a white label and you don't know if you're going to stay there and you have $1,000 of budget. I wouldn't recommend that you go on Amazon Live, because Amazon Live, it's a platform that first off, it's going to introduce products to maybe an audience that didn't even know that your product existed.
Mhm.
And as marketers, we understand that a person needs to see a product several times in order to make a purchase decision. Sometimes you have a product that they say, oh, this is cool, and they start thinking about it. And they might not see the live stream again because Amazon Live still doesn't have like millions of people like they have in China that go in masses and buy. It's smaller. So if you're going to put your money into, is it the last $1,000? I need to sell 5,000 of this. Like I say, this is not for you. Okay. This is the first thing. You need to understand that Amazon Live, it's a mostly a branding situation, and at the same time being realistic. Nowadays, it's not as big for us to say you're going to put this ad with me. I can do a great job. I can have 100,000 viewers, but maybe you have a product that person didn't need that day. Maybe your product is too niche. Maybe you are selling an LED that goes on a Tesla, and maybe people watching, they don't have a Tesla. You could get sales of people that are looking for that specific product, and they're going to go and type on Amazon in the browser and go there, right? So first off, I would say you need to understand that this is a platform that is not based on conversion. It's more of a discovery platform. It's like the top of the funnel to the middle, okay? And what I see is that the brands that come to me and that they are the most successful, it's because they understand that. And many times they have a plan of branding in different areas, and they have maybe social media influencers, and they have pay-per-click, and they have this and they have that, but they're not, okay, I have $1,000. I'm going to give it to Lorna. She needs to sell this, this inventory for me right now. That's the first thing. In my case, what I offer is a complete, what I call the 360-degree solution, so that people are not depending so much on only that live stream that is going to show up that day. And what I think is key is that consistency. So it doesn't work if you want to put one placement. So I always do at least 4 placements plus video reviews plus YouTube reviews to help with the SEO to drive traffic and to close deals from people that are going to YouTube to see if what they saw on Amazon is real as well. So, as I said, I don't think that Amazon Live is for everybody, but what I can say is that the brands that work with me are very successful brands and they understand the value of Amazon Live.
I think you nailed it. And I've never really talked about Amazon Live that way. And that's more for brand awareness. And you're absolutely right. If I talk to any influencers, their major sales don't have to be on Amazon Live. In fact, a lot of them will get it through Shoppables or through YouTube or other channels. But this is really to bring out that brand. And you mentioned about not once. So you think about those radio ads. Like for me, I drove into Toronto every day for 45 minutes and just hearing those same radio ads over and over. And it's just embedded. If I wanted to get a suit, I would be Saul Corman. You know, that was the guy's name. And, you know, he was on every morning. I'd hear it. I've never gone to the suit place before, but if it was, I would go to him. Saul Corman on the Danforth.
Exactly.
That's what the radio ad was. And that was 20 years ago, by the way. And I still have it in the back of my head.
Exactly.
But the other thing that I think you brought up is, so it's the 1 or 4 times. And also, I don't know about you, but if I'm looking at cold traffic, these are people that have never seen a brand before. You have to provide some form of discount. If you're this is just from me. So I'm telling people, if we're going on social media and you want to just promote this and you can give us a 10% discount, a 5%, whatever you want. But if we're going live and it's cold and you want to drive sales, you have to you've got to get a really very good discount, or it's just wasting your breath, or it's just brand consistency, you know, or brand awareness.
Yeah, urgency. And this is why Amazon Live has embedded a function that are promo codes. And when I promote products, I always say, if you have a promo code, an extra discount that you can give me, that helps. And deals, that's today's deals page is also a very busy page because people want to get a deal. It's Amazon. It's the nature of Amazon. So if you want to get people hooked and get them to take action right there, you need to put a deal with an expiration window.
Right. Now, that deal, it really depends on the product itself. If you've got the knife I was just showing, okay, that could be a 20 or 30% off. And you have to remember, like, people will come back, and I've seen this all the time. People will come back and say, well, I'll lose money. Yep. Now, don't expect to sell 1 million of these. This is going to get your brand out there. This is going to get your sales velocity out there. So it should improve your overall BSR. So at the end of the day, you might be losing here, but it's to build up that sales velocity to get your brand. And some people will come back and say, well, I don't want to do 30. I want to do 5, or I don't want to do any. Well, this is probably the wrong outlet for you. And for an influencer, they're making their money on this. You know, a lot of the times they're making their money on the sales that are generated, you know, and now you're in a different situation because you've got all these sponsored brands that are working with you. But in my case, for example, why would I promote a brand on Amazon Live? Now, I'm in a different situation too, because I'm doing this challenge. But if I was an influencer making my money off of a brand and all I knew that I was going to take my time and waste it, if nobody's paying me anything, this is what the influencer does as their life. You know, this is like a consultant going out and doing consulting for free, you know, or a plumber coming and working at your house for free. You have to expect that the money, the compensation is going to come either way. Now, it can be a fixed fee. You know, somebody might charge X number of dollars to go on live. You might do an alternative commission fee. It might be 10%. That's kind of the more common that I've seen. It might be a blend of two, but don't go to an A-list influencer and expect that your product's that great that they're going to do it for free for you.
Well, but to start with, if it was just for samples, my lights would be off. You wouldn't be able to see this. Like, I don't think it's possible to do this job by taking samples. And people who are taking samples for free, it's because they maybe have like deeper issues with themselves, and maybe they are not professionals. They think it's great if they're already
I'm
getting
taking samples for free right now.
well, there you
But
go.
I have issues. I know, I'll admit it. I have
There you
issues.
go, Nar. Well, but I mean, I would never do that. And it's impossible to be showing up for 3 hours and showing products just for a sample, or it's simply something that an A-lister is not going to accept,
No way.
because we are doing multiple 5-figure deals. So this is why we have a team that just simply qualifies. Qualification, it's part of any consulting business, and we simply ignore sellers. I don't take them seriously. People that don't have a budget to invest in their brand, and maybe they want to go and try to fish and send 5,000 emails to 5,000 influencers and provide a sample for free. If I need something, I go and I buy it. And as of right now, I have 3 storage units in my building full of samples of paid promotions. So when they send me something like that, I said, I'm going to take a few pictures, because I don't know what to do with the 3 storage units that I have. Like, I have a garage and 2 smaller units full up to the ceiling. I don't need samples. Samples don't pay my bills.
Right.
So that is it's just you're not going to get an A-lister just working for you for samples, because it's simply something you're not going to do. I'd rather go and do any DoorDash or Instacart, and I would be making more money than receiving a sample.
Yeah, exactly. And again, for me, it's because I'm doing this challenge. But I can tell you that it takes so much time,
energy,
research. You want to make sure you've tried it. You want to go and check out what the product is. You want to see what people are saying. I know right now, just with my team, I've got 4 people working on something I'm not getting paid for.
Yeah. Not sustainable, right?
Pardon me?
It's not sustainable over time.
No. And, again, we're doing it for content so we can share it with people who want to become an influencer, be their own brand ambassador, or find an influencer. But at the end of the day, I can tell you this is probably one of the hardest jobs I've done. And I am working this every single day trying to get.
Follow you. You know what? I'm feeling bad. I'm going to follow you, and I'm going to be there with you.
All right. Perfect.
I'm going to comment. I'm going to give you a lot of likes and hearts.
2 followers now. Whoop.
Don't worry. I'm going to get all my assistants to follow you too.
All right. Oh boy. Thank you. So let's talk about something else about when you go on Amazon Live. And I think this is really important, but the do's and the don'ts. There's a lot of people doing don'ts. I've probably done a million of them, but what do you think? What are the top do's and the top don'ts?
So first, as I explained before, the do is, okay, you want to build a brand, look at it as a long-term investment. Understand that you're going to have to spend money on it. Let the influencer that you choose do their job. Don't go and micromanage them or blame them because you didn't get sales. Sometimes, and it's crazy because I show about 500 products per month, okay? And I'm so good at looking at a list, and I'm saying, oh, this is going to sell, this is not going to sell. I look at it, I know already. So sometimes when they don't make sales and they think it's because I didn't show the product out, I didn't sell because, for example, I have Grogu here with me. I'm going to use Grogu. Isn't he cute?
I have my little Norm the Gnome back here.
He's alive. You see that?
What?
He's alive.
Oh,
he's happy to be on TV. He's using the force. He helps me get followers too. You think? He brings followers to the show. But yeah, I see that you have your guy in the back. I see them. Say hello to the dwarf in the back, girl. Anyways, what I was saying is that if I'm telling you, oh, this influencer didn't get sales because they didn't explain that Grogu has 50 different movements, that's not the reason why I didn't make sales.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to look into your listing. You need to look at the price. Maybe you have 3 reviews and you're charging double that the number 1 bestseller. So people are going to go to your listing. They're going to go down, scroll down, see your competitors, and they're going to buy something else because the other has more reviews. Or so you need to understand that the influencer is not going to make your business, is not going to make your brand.
If your listing is terrible,
I'm not a magician. I can't.
Right. Got it.
Right. So I think that that's something very important. People think that we as influencers, we have the power to, and maybe Kim Kardashian has, but Kim Kardashian is going to cost you a little bit more than what I charge. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So understand also what is going to be your ROI, and understand what is your product, and be okay with that, and find that there are other ways for you to get sales for you. And as I said, budget so that this doesn't break the bank for you. As I said, I have 1 year. This is the 2nd year that I renewed with Betshore. I have other companies that are very successful, and they're not worried if they're getting this month, oh, I broke even with Lorna. They're not worried about that. Also, they are interested in the content creation. So I also offer commercial rights. You can use the content that I create, and you can use it in your social media. It's going to be way cheaper than going after an influencer. Also, don't offer commission if you are going to disappear after. I don't work with commissions, just so you know.
Mhm.
I think it's not professional, because I don't know who these people are that are coming to me. So I don't know if they're going to pay me or not. And what if their product doesn't sell because their listing sucks? It's not my fault. So I only work with flat rates and with arrangements around that. So also look for influencers that have a structure. I have contracts. I have a team. I've never had a refund. I've never had someone coming to me and saying, oh, she didn't fulfill. So you need to find people that have a system, that are professional. Or if you want to get it like for free or offer a commission, just be a little empathetic. Try not to take advantage too much of people, of the poor influencers, because as you know, Norm, it's not easy.
Right.
And some people, I think that they don't understand their value, and this is why they're taking free samples. That's how I see it.
Yeah. And you also mentioned multiple things about the commercial license, which we've talked about before. But just because you're working with an influencer, this does not give you the right to the influencer's content that they provided. This is where that agreement will state exactly who owns the copyright. Is it transferable? What you can use it for? What's the time limit you can use it for? There's a variety of things that you have to know. And if you're paying X, let's say you're paying $250, and that $250, you all of a sudden think you can take it and put it everywhere, and that's not what the agreement says. You could be instead of the $250 and working, let's say the commercial arrangement was $500. Well, you might be looking at $2,500, $5,000 because now the influencer is coming after you because you broke this contract. And it happens all the time.
It happens. Yeah, some people don't know, and they put it in their listing, like a video inside their listing. And sometimes they don't do it on purpose. They don't know. This is why in our agreements, we always put it written. This is not giving you commercial rights, meaning you cannot use it on social media. You cannot use it here or there unless we give you written permission separately.
So let's just take an example of $250. When you provide commercial rights, I know that this is completely different for you, but is it double, triple, quadruple that base fixed rate? What should people kind of look at for that? And this is one of those, how long is a piece of string? It's
I didn't understand the question.
okay. So let's say that somebody's coming to you and they want to promote here, the Veggie Pro knife. You're
Mhm.
charging them $250 to do it and go live,
Uh-huh.
but they want commercial rights to it. What could be an expected rate if they wanted to go and take this and now use it in their social media side of things? So 250 is for a one time or whatever it is on Amazon Live, but now they want the rights to it. What would be the amount that would be charged? Is it 500, 750, 1,000?
Well, that's why this is very hard to answer, because my commercial rights are not the commercial rights that Kim Kardashian charges.
Yeah.
So that's to start with. And also, for example, going live with one product one day, charging 250 for me doesn't really make sense, because I think it's kind of like very risky. I don't take one timers, because I think that what if that day I don't have viewers? If Amazon Live decides going to go live like they did yesterday and they shut everybody down, they lock the today's deals page. So that's why I don't work with such small like placements just one day, and I need to do 5 or more. It really depends. There are people that charge $300. There are people that charge $1,000. There are people that charge $1,500. I was charging, and I said, "Oh, I'm charging normal," and then I noticed that I was charging way less than a lot of people. Most people are charging like $1,500 for commercial rights. I'm charging way less than that. And honestly, the reason why I'm charging less than that is because for me, I see it like something that is not taking me an extra work. And I'd rather give the seller a better deal and give this as a bonus, so not as a bonus that is included, but something that he can see that is a really good opportunity for him to take the risk of maybe not getting so many sales in the live stream, but having the content. So I kind of like put it in my proposal and my packages more as a sales technique of, okay, I'm giving you a bonus that is a really great deal so that you take the risk of paying the higher price for the main package that otherwise you would be a little bit scared to pay for. Do you understand?
Okay, very good. All right. This is just a last minute warning. If anybody is interested in our giveaway today, hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people and you'll get a second entry. We'll give you a couple of minutes here. And now, Lorna, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, so first off, Amazon Live. It's very simple to go to my Amazon storefront as well that you can follow. It's right there on the screen. I can see it. Thank you so much for showing it. It's very simple. It's amazon.com/shop/Lorna. So that's the first way. Now I am transitioning into new social media that's going to be salesy, because as I said, I got all this hate from the main music channels. So I'm rebranding myself and I am just launching. I'm in the process of putting it together. That is Lorna Finds. So it's going to be like 2 separate audiences. And as you were explaining before, that it's hard for you to bring your audience of what you do and bring them into Amazon Live. It's because it's a different crowd. So this is a reason why I am kind of like creating a completely separate social media that is going to be about sales and products. And this is where we're starting out. So it's going to be very, very small. Or on my social media, that is the oldest channels, biggest channels, YouTube, it's going to be Lorna Music Official, or Facebook as well. But for e-commerce, is Lorna Finds is a new one.
Okay, very good. Well, why don't we go to our last commercial break and then we'll come back for the Wheel of Kelsey. I want to thank Jeff Schick Legal for sponsoring this episode of Lunch with Norm. You've probably heard on the podcast about Amazon suspensions. They're very real. It can happen at any time. And when it does happen, how do you get out of it? How does the little guy like you and me get out of these suspensions without paying an arm and a leg in legal fees? This is where Jeff Schick Legal is here to help. For a very low monthly retainer, for only $89, get access to Amazon attorney Jeff Schick. That's right. You can sit back, relax, enjoy that cup of coffee while listening to the Lunch with Norm podcast, knowing that you have an advocate and a partner in your business success. But wait, just mention Lunch with Norm and receive 50% off the first 2 months. Get the protection you need and visit jeffschick.com today. That's JEFFSCHICK.com. Now let's get back to the show. Oh, Kels, I noticed that we had a couple questions. I just noticed it now. Do you want to just answer those first and then we can get to the wheel?
Yeah, so we've got 2 questions, one from Rad. There are lots of influencers who approach us to be influencers. They have lots of followers, but how do you find out which influencer is legit and who is not? Do we have to go through an agency for that, or is there another way that people can test that out?
Okay, so that's a good question. That is something that unfortunately we deal with on any business. You go into business with someone and you don't know if how the person is going to, perform. What I can talk about right now, which is Amazon Live, is first I would go only for the A-listers because they are more serious. And also don't expect to, to have a business relationship with a person that is not a business person. If the person doesn't have a proposal, if the person doesn't have a contract, if the person is not charging you, if the person is answering the emails, I have a team, so I need to charge more. I have a whole structure. So I think that first off, you need to look at the small signals to start with. Go only to A-listers on Amazon Live. That must be, maybe it doesn't sound really good saying that, but I think that you're going to get more results than in other situations. And agencies are great. I'm not against agencies. I think they're very good, but they're more expensive as well. And sometimes you're going to be dropping a fortune and you're not going to have much of a different experience or results. So it's up to you. Bigger companies prefer dealing with bigger agencies. And I think sometimes they're not working with me, and I do outreach as well. I do outreach. And some people say I work with an agency, and I'm like, okay, too bad. Your agency never came to me and I could do a good job for you. So I think that the biggest companies also, they understand the micro influencer and the micro and the macro, the bigger people and the small people, right? So it's good to understand that is the difference between those, and also give a chance to people that are smaller and they have their own business as well.
Okay, very good. Yeah, and just a note that if you are checking out different influencers and they're approaching you and you are checking them, they might have a lot of followers, but check the engagement that they have.
Yes.
Check the comments and see if there are a lot of emojis and one words. So that's one way. That's one quick way to just take a look to see if this is legit.
Oh, yes. Yes. If you see a person that has 500,000 followers, but they have 20 likes on each post on Instagram, that's a red flag that those are not real followers. That's
right.
That's the first one, right?
Yep.
Okay, and our last question is from Claudia. If we're starting out with our first product, what would be a reasonable deal to make with an influencer for a product that sells for about $35? Is it reasonable to ask them if we can use the content in our social media and advertising?
So I understand that there are people that charge according to the price of the product. I personally don't work like that because I try as much as possible to detach myself from the results or the sales that the person is going to do, and I'm going to do my best job if your product is $10 or $5 or $50. So what I say is that, for example, I have packages right now that start at $300. Okay, that doesn't include she's asking if we can use that content on social media and advertising. That's not included. Okay, so if you want to, what we were talking about before, if you want that separately, I think you would be looking at around, I would charge, I don't know your product, but just so that I know many people don't want to say prices. I'm going to say prices because I know that a lot of people are like, how much is she talking about?
Yeah.
I would say you can start like with 700 and you can have, in my opinion, a lot of value and things are evergreen. So having a content later on that you can use, it's evergreen because you can use it instead of having to hire somebody else to do a social media post for you. You have it already. You can run ads with it. These are things that are going to be bringing sales. And what I do as well is I create shoppable videos, multiple shoppable videos. I put the products on my storefront. So I try to stock more value for the people that are working with me. But it's not everybody works the same. I'm just looking at it as a seller myself, trying to find things that are going to stay longer. But that's kind of like the price point. Now, if you're going to go to social media separately, that's a completely different story. I'm just talking about the prices that I see on Amazon Live, which goes around $100 per placement, around that. But if you go to Amazon Live, it starts at 50 grand.
Yeah, a little bit different.
That's 50 grand. I think that's a cool thing. We can work together. We can help each other grow. And even if you're not as big as someone that can drop 50 grand on a promotion.
Okay, I think that's it. Kelsey, can we go over to the wheel?
Alrighty, here's the Wheel of Kelsey.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
Thank you, everyone who entered the Wheel of Kelsey today. We're going to shuffle these up. We do this every single podcast, and let's see who today's winner is. If you are the winner, please email me, kate@lunchwithnorm.com. And Rad
gets it. There we go.
Congratulations, Rad.
So just to let you know, there we go. But Rad, you can pick from one of 3 different prizes. You could pick from the course that's coming out probably within a month, or the 1 year of 1 pallet being stored, or the Tariff Terminator, which is valued at $400. So anyways, any of those that you want, congrats, Rad. And thank you, Lorna.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. And thanks everyone here for listening.
Now, if you could stick around just for a second after we leave the podcast. It's getting, I'm an old guy. It's the end of the, podcast, and I haven't had enough coffee. But anyways, if you could kick around, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. Want more great information? Don't forget to subscribe by clicking here. Also, if you want to check out our latest podcasts, click over here.
Lunch with